thing about Bowen, they told me, look, you're going to do the showcase and he's going to leave and we'll find out in 2 days. And they said, yes comes quick, no, never comes.
Yep.
This dude, we're performing in Nashville in a black, dark room. And then Mike Raines tells me he's coming. I said, what? They go, Bowen's headed to the stage. Walked up on stage and said, we're going to put you in the studio tomorrow, see if you can sing on track, but you got a record deal. Now that's what you call being signed on the spot.
Yeah.
So that was rare.
I think John
I know it
Barry
used to
had the
happen a
same
little bit.
story, right? Like,
John signed right after I did.
yeah.
John and I were just like this, and we were naive and excited, and John was a great. Hey, if I'm gonna have a buddy in this business, because anybody on their label, especially Garth in my situation, did not like me.
Yeah.
I was, he was. I would assume that since Billy Ray came out the year before, he saw this explosion coming through with this
Mm.
rock and country thing, and he the few times I was around him, man, he was nothing but a
That's
straight.
confusing, man. Because
Yeah,
Garth gets a lot of flack for being rock and country.
yeah, yes, and for another time, another story. Uh,
Yeah.
I could write a chapter on him uh, and the way the dynamics went at Capitol, Nashville, and in Nashville.
Yeah.
I'd go roam the hallways, try to get people to like me, and there was just some people that just weren't going to do it, and it was because of that affiliation.
Yeah. It sucks, man. It's there's always cliques, there's always friendships, and
Absolutely,
you
and
know.
that's where retrospect. That's where I think it's cool that people can take a
Yeah,
cassette tape and put it out on
man.
Spotify.
Yeah,
I would encourage listeners to, if you like the song, you like it.
yeah.
If you don't like the production, you
So
don't like it.
there's a girl from Amsterdam. Her name is Julia Adriana, and
Hmm.
I found her completely through my YouTube algorithm. And golly, I'm in love with this girl. Like
She's that good,
she's
huh?
that good, Ricky. Like,
Wow.
but yeah, like
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that, the listener gets to decide. And you said that on this show. I love that. Great. That is the quote of the show right there. The listener gets to decide. And that's the way it should
That's
have
right.
always been in this business.
I
Um,
think if they had not, like before this happened, I mean, in Nashville, LA, New York, there was such thing. You could work your butt off, spend all of your money, and make a great demo. But when you turned it over to someone with authority, they'd go, "Hey, this is a great demo. We need a
or
record."
even somebody with no authority.
Someone with no authority,
I
right?
mean, let's be
An
honest,
A&R
because
guy.
when you go from work tape demo, right,
Yeah,
it goes into
right,
the hands of a song plugger.
right.
I mean,
Well,
song
it goes to
pluggers are
marketing.
important, but come on the authority side of things,
Yeah. Well,
song
song
pluggers shouldn't
pluggers.
be deciding what gets heard and what doesn't, man. Like,
I had the greatest song plugger. His name was Lynn Gann, and he worked for Jim Collins Music. Uh,
oh man, Jim
man,
Collins is amazing, man.
yes, and
Yeah.
we found two records full of stuff. Of course, I would archive all the stuff.
Mhm.
So much. I met him in '92. Well, no, I met him in 1990. That's when I got signed with Jim. Let's go back, Tom Collins, because I do know Jim Collins. I love Jim
Yeah.
Collins. I love that man. Tom Collins. He produced Barbara Mandrell, Steve
Okay.
Warner.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, out of his publishing group, I got a ton of songs for the first record and for the Careful What You Wish For record.
Okay.
That's where I got Penny and uh, gosh, what's another great song that I got from his off that last record? Several.
Well,
Uh,
my favorite is the title track. So
hey,
yeah, I love that
careful
song.
what you wish for. That has brought many a people to their knees.
Yeah, I know, myself included.
Especially me.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from that, man. I love talking 21st century with folks that have been in the business a while. I had that same conversation with Buddy Cannon, who I'm sure you know who Buddy is, and that guy's a wealth of knowledge and advice and stuff.
Yeah,
Buddy just had a stroke, and he's doing fine. He's doing great. He came out of it, and I
I
think he's
hate that.
back home now. But
Good for
we're
him.
definitely thinking about you, buddy. And anyway, let's move on
Absolutely.
to some quick questions, and then we'll let Ricky get on with his day. This is the part of the format that I really enjoy. And a lot of these I have come up with over time. This started with like 4 or 5 different segments, and I think I'm up to like 10 or 11 now. But first one: is there anything in the music business you feel isn't fun?
uh, of course, and that's pressure. And pressure from, hey, like you said, people that don't even have authority.
Yeah,
Um, that was one thing that kind of got me after the second record on Liberty was there were people making decisions that they should have went to their supervisor.
yeah,
That's putting it simply. Uh, but I began to realize that, hey, man, this is all about money, and they ain't coming to me.
yep,
Back then it was hey, man, be glad. Even though I had songs that were published, it was hard to get those checks. I realized then that whatever they pushed you to do was to push that product, and you had a lot of people pushing,
yep,
you know, and they were hired to push, but it drove me crazy, Boston.
yeah.
Drove me crazy.
Mm.
And I'd kind of get aggravated, like, they just want this for this. It ain't about me, which is not the attitude
That
to
Nashville
have.
machine, man.
That
Yeah,
Nashville machine, baby. New York and LA too.
yep.
That's where they
And
learn from.
Austin to an extent. I mean, let's be honest, right? Like Austin's coming that way now too.
Austin always had a stick. I wouldn't want to say that word, but Austin always had this thing that they stood alone in
Yeah,
Texas, and they were bigger and better, and they were
yeah.
because they would find a lot of artists, a
More
lot of
freedom,
producers would
more
go to.
freedom. Yeah.
Yeah, different than Dallas. If you want to make it out of Dallas, you better stick with Dallas. Houston, same way, but Austin,
Mhm. Shoot,
if you
Fort
didn't
Worth
make
and
it,
Dallas are different,
I
man.
know,
Like what?
right, right. That's where the rock and country came in.
Yeah.
But you got it about the Austin, even to this day, if you didn't make a record, if you didn't do anything, once that family embraced you, Pauline Reese is a good example, man. She's a great singer.
Oh, I love
She's
Pauline.
in, yeah, she's in Austin, and those people
Another one
embrace her.
from East Texas who doesn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's from Pittsburgh. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, I knew she was there and around.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, you know,
All right, next one. Outside of music, what are some things you enjoy doing?
uh, I'm outside of music. Man, I love to exercise, and I just began to get back into it probably 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
Now, spring of 23, I got my basketball out. 2 miles away is a gym. I began to shoot baskets. Bam, bam. Then I fractured my L1 in August of that year.
Jeez.
So that laid me up because, we talked about that little setback
Mm.
that we both had in 23. So I had to sit here and really play music, write music. And I don't write music like to finish a song out. I write tidbits. And even though that's not a full creation, but it does stimulate your mind.
Hmm.
And now I hope to accumulate all this stuff and put it all together and get with some
Hmm. And we're
confident
getting there. We're getting
collaborators.
there.
Yeah,
That is one of our fan questions. I actually have 2 fan questions.
yeah.
And we'll get into the first one now, which is a little less. It's a little higher levity. Steve Reitnauer wants to know, do you really roll a 7 every time you roll roll the dice, Ricky? Is that really true?
Quite the contrary. Look. I don't crap out, man. But I'm very selective about things in life, and I'm not talking about music. I know that's a song.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm fortunate. I'm don't mean to get spiritual on you here, but I'm led by a higher being.
Yeah.
I wake up every day conscious of that being, and I bow and pray to that being more than 5 times a day. And so, out of that, I get favor. And even through my health situations, Boston, you and I were talking quite heavily back then. You brought me my award from East Texas Rocks, and things have been magical in my life, and I've got to give all the credit to our Father God.
Okay. And the next fan question was not asked by one person; it was multiple people. So they apparently there are rumors going around that Ricky Lynn Gregg has a new musical project coming up. Can you set the rumors at ease?
Yeah, I actually have two. When I went from Head East and told all my friends, one of them being Jeff Tyree, which I've known since I was about 19 at Savvy's. Um, I went to him and he says, "Man, what can I do for you?" And I said, "Well, I just need to get a demo together." And this joker put, I think we got about 8 songs of songs I'd written trying to become a country singer. And we got all that on 2-inch tape. We baked it. It's down. It's, it's on digital now. And I am going to finish those out and we're going to release them to the public. The second part is, and I'm really excited about this because Sharon Ryan executive produced the money
Wow.
to Chad Malden at Malden Productions in Gladewater, Texas. He's a hit maker too, you know. He's got a lot of hits out there in the
Indeed.
Texas charts.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that time to fulfill. I have just reached a point where I can say, "Hey, I could sing a whole song and I could stab it." As before, I think she bought that time in 2020.
So are we talking
So
a
it's
single
wet.
here?
We're talking a single, "Waterfall," baby.
Nice.
Yes, and I want to collaborate with Lisa Lane. You know Lisa,
Of course.
All I Want for Christmas. I
Yeah.
want to collaborate with her, but I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time finding songs, and I've been so I'm looking for any songs right now.
Okay.
But at least that would be a joy to collaborate with Lisa Lane because I feel like we're kindred spirits. You know,
Man, wouldn't it be cool if you guys did a Christmas song together?
I, if I could find one, I promise you, we'd be at it and in it. Lisa's another person that's helped me get through some of
I'm going to
my
drop a name
lack of
for you.
confidence.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. You remember Bobby Barker?
Oh yeah.
Songwriter extraordinaire back in Nashville
Yeah.
days. Of course, he's no longer with us, but
Yeah.
he has a daughter named Megan,
Yeah.
and she's an extraordinary songwriter, and she writes a lot of Christmas songs.
Is she in our area or is she in
She's
Nashville?
in
Is she in
Nashville,
Austin?
but she plays Texas often.
Hook us up,
I sure
Austin.
will. I sure will.
Hook us up.
Yeah.
Because I need some lyrics. I need a lyricist.
Yeah, she'd be perfect. But yeah, new stuff coming from Ricky.
That's the goal,
A
baby.
new single from Malden Productions in the works. Do you have an ETA on that?
No, I don't. I just know that I can look at them now and confidently say, "I'm preparing. I'm ready."
Okay.
Before it's like, "I'm ready. I'll call you
Yeah.
tomorrow," and then I'd wake up. You know how sick I was, brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Broken up and sick.
Well,
But now
that's
I'm
good news
past
for
that.
me because that means you're going to be driving right by my house to do that. So that's good.
That's right.
That's good stuff.
That's right.
All right. So we're going to do our having fun segments now with Ricky Lynn Gregg. This is all new to him. It's not new to you folks out there. This is episode, oh Lord, 78 now. Can you believe that, Ricky?
Awesome.
It's been
Awesome,
78 episodes since I started doing this again.
There's not too much you touch that doesn't flourish. You know that.
Oh man,
So I'm
thank you.
proud of
Man.
you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.